It is a beautiful day for Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN Sports. Lots of sunshine here on the north side. Breezy, mild, somewhat cool temperatures. It's the Cubs hosting the Houston Astros from Wrigley Field. We welcome Cub fans from all over the country watching on WGN America, America's home for baseball. Hi again, everyone. Bob Brenly and Len Casper with you. It's the second game of a final homestand here in 2011. Cubs won in extras yesterday. Houston on the cusp of its first ever 100-loss season. Bob, let's look at what the Cubs have done at home. It's been a tough year overall, but if they can win out, they have a chance for a better than 500 record at Wrigley.
Well, this is another one of those tangible goals in a lost season. We talked about possibly catching the Pirates for fourth place. A 500 record at home would be an improvement. You see, you have to go all the way back to 2009, the last time the Cubs had a 500 or better record here at Wrigley. You got to get back to the friendly confines, start winning at home.
Aramis Ramirez has hit the ball very well, really everywhere, but particularly at home. What a season he's put together.
Yeah, he really has, Len. It seems like a long time ago, those first couple months when just about everybody was struggling offensively for the Cubs, but Aramis has turned his season around. His numbers are going to be right where you expect them to be when you leave spring training. He's just one of the more consistent run producers in the National League.
Let's take a look at the starting pitchers. This is a rematch from August 15th in Houston. Henry Sosa's a rookie. We know about Rodrigo Lopez. He struggled his last time out, but got the win.
And both guys threw a lot of pitches in their last effort. Sosa 4 2/3, threw over 90. For Lopez, he threw 5 1/3. He threw over 90.
Maybe a milestone win. The Cubs shooting for their 4,000th all-time win here at Wrigley Field. And what a finish yesterday in extra innings. They called it fair. It was very close. Marlon Byrd knocking in the winning run. Cubs baseball from Wrigley coming up next. The just right taste of Bud Light with a refreshing splash of 100% natural lime flavor. Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball and your Chicago Cubs. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Ford, the newest vehicles on the road are now at your local Ford store. Like the all-new Ford Explorer, SUV, 100% reinvented. Visit localfordstores.com. Ford, drive one. And by the Illinois Lottery. Play the new $200 million cash spectacular instant game from the Illinois Lottery for your chance at over 7.6 million prizes. Hurry, tickets are limited. And we're ready. Jordan Schaefer against veteran right-hander Rodrigo Lopez, and a called strike. We're underway. Cubs baseball in high definition is brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Out in the left center, that's going to split the gap for Jordan Schaefer. Tony Campana will retrieve and get it back in. That's a leadoff double for Schaefer. As we look in on the rest of Brad Mills' lineup, again, they're trying to avoid their 100th loss. It would be the first time in Astros history that they've lost in triple digits. Clint Barmas coming up. You got J.D. Martinez in left. Yesterday, big day for Carlos Lee, although he struggled against Lopez. Bogusevic in right, Matt Downs at second, Jimmy Paredes at third, Carlos Corporon the catcher, and Henry Sosa still looking for his first hit. Here's Barmas with the cornermen in. Bob will set the defense here in a second. Outside, ball one.
No sign of a bunt from Barmas here in the first inning. The situational hitting would say he should try to move that ball to the right side of the field, but Barmas is a dead pull hitter, and with the wind blowing out to left here at Wrigley today, I don't think you're going to see him. He did take a shot to the right side right there, fouling it straight back, but boy, this is the kind of day, if you're a right-handed fly ball pull hitter, you don't even want to think about moving that ball to the right side of the field.
A southeast crosswind, which means, as Bob said, it's blowing out to left, 8 miles an hour, 62 degrees. A perfect fall-like afternoon. We're just a few days away from the official start of autumn.
Both teams took batting practice on the field before the ball game today with the wind blowing out to left field, and the Toyota sign behind the bleachers in left field was a handy target for both teams today.
Foul tip, strike two. It's even up. Umpires today headed by Marty Foster, who's got the plate. Bill Welke at first, David Rackley at second, Jeff Nelson is the crew chief at third. Key call in the game yesterday was made by David Rackley at third base on the dribbler by Marlon Byrd to win it. Throw to second close, but Schaefer got back in.
Oh, we talked about Schaefer in the first game of this series, along with Jason Bourgeois. Really good speed. You definitely want to shorten up that secondary lead, if at all possible, making it tougher for him to score on a potential base hit to the outfield.
Two on the way, a swing and a miss, strike three.
Let's take a look at how the Cubs take the field defensively today. Behind Rodrigo Lopez, brought to you by Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball and your Chicago Cubs. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Soriano in left, Campana in center. Brian LaHare, who's done a better than adequate job as a defender on the corner outfield spots. He'll be in right field. Ramirez, Castro, Barney, Pena once again across the infield. Giovanni Soto doing the catching for right-hander Rodrigo Lopez. Another pickoff attempt. That time the throw on the wrong side of the bag, but definitely keeping an eye on Schaefer back there. You never know which run in a ball game is going to be the important one, and you definitely don't want the Astros to take an early lead today.
Martinez went 1 for 5 in the opener. Lopez gets the highest strike. His fastball today pretty consistent at 88 miles an hour. So obviously he's not overpowering, has to spot his pitches well, and he struggled keeping the ball in the ballpark in his last outing in Cincinnati. Gave up 4 homers over 5 1/3, but got a ton of run support to snap a 3-game losing streak as the Cubs won 12-8. 0-2 on Martinez with Carlos Lee on deck.
Just one more note about the conditions here today, Len. You can see from the shadows of the defenders on the left side of the field, third base, shortstop, and Left field are going to have some issues early in the ball game. As the day progresses, it'll move across the field and ultimately be the right side of the infield that battles the sun.
Back-to-back Ks for Rodrigo Lopez after that leadoff double.
Well located fastball at 89, right at the bottom of the kneecaps on the outside corner. Say it all the time, tough to hit, too close to take. Perfect pitch.
Speaking of the angle of the sun, obviously as you get later in the summer, it's lower in the horizon to the south. It's just a constantly changing deal here for day games at Wrigley Field. I mean, if we were sitting here in early June, there would be no shadows on the field at all at 10, 12, 11 p.m. But you already have some shade. The Astros bullpen currently in the shade.
And all the fans on the first base side of the field are probably shivering a little bit, while the fans on the left side are in their shirt sleeves and enjoying a sunny day here at Wrigley.
Ramirez dives, gets up, and not a good throw, and it actually hit Bobby Meacham, the first base coach, behind Carlos Pena, and the Astros get a run. So half of the play well done by Ramirez, but not a good throw. And it's going to be a hit for Carlos Lee, but an error on Ramirez, allowing the run to score.
A lot of sink on that throw once again as he made that diving stop down there in the hole between third and short. Slid that throwing hand across the infield dirt. May not have had a real good grip on that ball. That was almost a big break for the Cubs right there when the ball hit first base coach Bobby Meacham, but Darwin Barney could not change directions quickly enough to get to that ball.
And now the call has been changed to just an error, no hit. And I think that's the right call.
I think so. Good throw gets Carlos Lee rather easily at first base on that play. Just a tough long hop for Pena to try to handle over there at first base.
Two and 0 on Brian Bogusevic. Bogusevic, born in Palos Heights, Illinois, attended Tulane. Lopez getting some swings and misses on his fastball early on.
Yeah, late swings and misses on an 88-mile-an-hour heater. Must be hiding the ball a little better today than he has in recent starts. Look like the Astros are picking it up very quickly out of his hand. Another late swing on an 89-mile-an-hour fastball. Right in the middle of the zone. Bogusevic just could not catch up. Early start today. Late game last night, or rather yesterday afternoon, and then a night off in Chicago. Some of the Astros bats may be a little slow today.
Bogusevic attended De La Salle High School before heading off to Tulane. Lee will take off on this 3-2 offering. And a base hit into center, and Lee will make the turn.
Bogusevic able to catch up to that fastball. A lot of pitches right in the middle of the plate. That particular sequence, swung through a couple of them, but ultimately gets one he can handle, lines it up the middle of the field, and big El Caballo chugging around second base will make it all the way around to third.
Another hot Matt Downs, hitting .404 over his last 22 games. Sliders outside. Downs playing second. Came into the game late yesterday, played third and then first. Couple of other early starts, both in the American League. We'll keep an eye on the Yankees and the Blue Jays in Toronto. Bartolo Colon against Henderson Alvarez, scoreless in the bottom of the first. And the Indians and Twins just underway in Minnesota. Genmar Gomez and Anthony Swarzak. Jim Thome last night hit his 603rd career home run. Playing now for Cleveland against Minnesota, and the division has been decided. Detroit clinching its first division crown since 1987. Big win for the Cardinals in Philadelphia.
And oh, by the way, Albert Pujols' 4-for-4 day yesterday pushes his batting average up over 300 on the season.
Braves lost. Boston won. That's a huge win for the Red Sox as they edged the Rays 4-3 to get their lead back to 4. If they had lost, it would be down to 2. Bogusevic takes off, swing and a miss, and the inning is over. They get an unearned run, and the Cubs are coming up.
HOU La Tremenda Chicago, Spanish language sports leader.
Now the Cubs Pepsi lineup brought to you by Pepsi Max, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball and your Chicago Cubs. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Castro 7 hits away from 200. Campana in for Bird. Ramirez, Pena, Leher, and Soriano in the middle. Darwin Barney hitting 7th. Giovanni Soto with his 15th homer yesterday, and Rodrigo Lopez bats 9th against rookie right-hander Henry Sosa. And ball 1 to Castro. That's his entire major league career to this point.
Every bit of it. Basically a fastball slider guy. Throws a lot of sliders. He will mix in an occasional straight changeup, but Pretty much a two-pitch pitcher, just tries to command both sides of the plate with that tailing fastball and use the slider as his out pitch.
Astros got Sosa in the Jeff Keppinger deal with San Francisco on July 19. He would later, over a month later, beat the Giants in San Francisco for his first major league win. After being selected from the minor leagues on August 10th. From the Dominican Republic. And Castro didn't mean to. Corporan will throw him out.
Take a quick look at the Astros defensively today. Martinez in left, Schaefer in center, Bogusevic in right field. Paredes at third, Barmes at short, Downs at second today. Carlos Lee slowly making that transition. Used to be strictly a left fielder, but this is his 61st start this year at first base. Carlos Corporan behind home plate made a nice play on that swinging bunt by Starlin Castro, and on the mound Henry Sosa.
Talked with Tony Campana about his speed training. He's done a little formal training, but he said it's all about explosiveness. You'll do some weights and things to increase your burst out of the gate, so to speak. That is a huge and essential part of his game, maintaining that speed.
Fast twitch muscle fibers.
Right. 2-1. Footwork, your mechanics in terms of stealing bases, all those things he keeps a very close eye on.
It's pretty hard to quibble with Tony Campana's base running, but if there was one aspect that I think he could improve upon is being more aware of where the ball is when he is stealing a base. He tends to slide head first a lot on overthrows or balls that get away from middle infielders. He doesn't always know where the ball is.
We want to let our AT&T U-verse viewers in Chicago and around the country on WGN America know that during every Cubs home game this season, if you go to channel 780 or high definition channel 1780, you can see a special multi-view presentation that shows you all our different live camera angles here at Wrigley Field. It's pretty cool. So if you want to direct the game along with Skip Ellison, who's sitting there in the middle, give a look to AT&T U-verse channel 780 or HD channel 1780. You should see his living room at home. He's got 25 televisions.
Now Skip's the one down there in the truck paying attention.
Ramirez drills it foul.
Got a feeling my mic's going to cut out today.
Well, if they're not paying attention, they didn't hear it.
Oh, they heard it.
Solid year for Ramos. Campana, big threat to steal at first. Great to see him walk. That's another thing he'd sure like to improve upon. Mixing in a few more free bases. As the key for Campana is to get on. Once he gets on, he's deadly.
He's been much better lately with his two-strike approach. There was a time, especially early on when he first got to the major leagues, he was a very aggressive swinger, which is obviously not going to be his strength at this level, but he's been much more patient, worked a lot of deeper counts, and has still been able to make good contact when he does get to two strikes.
Sosa listed at 6'2", 197 pounds.
Tony Campana could probably get another 2 steps on his lead over there at first. He's not fooled whatsoever by the pickoff move from Sosa. We talked about the Astros catcher yesterday. He's thrown out under 20% on the season. He does get an extra step over there at first base.
sure you keep in touch. Send us an email at LennonBob@Tribune.com. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. A bunch of emails and nasty tweets and the like the other night when we were trying to figure out all the names of the animated dogs. Bark in the Park night in Cincinnati. Campana runs. Ramirez bounces. Foul. We don't have to get all of our baseball facts right, but if you misidentify Scrappy Doo, look out.
Watch out. A lot of Scrappy Doo fans out there. Well, did we ever come to a final conclusion on Spike?
No. I think it was a generic cartoon dog used by, I guess, whoever wants to use it.
Yeah.
We named him Spike. Ground ball, Campana running, so Paredes only has first base, and he gets Ramirez for out number 2. Bob, we haven't really talked much about the little tweak in the lineup with Aramis Ramirez now in the everyday position at third in the order, and Pena behind him fourth. For many years with Derek Lee here would be Lee third and Ramirez fourth, but the kind of year Aramis has had, he's got to come up in the first inning.
Yeah, you want to get him as many at bats over the course of a game and over the course of the season as you possibly can. That's why generally the best hitter always hits in that 3 spot in the lineup. Get that extra at bat on a daily basis. You definitely want that man up at the plate with the bat in his hand right now.
Hard to argue with the results, but I never understood why Felipe Alou hit Barry Bonds fourth.
There's a lot of things I didn't understand about Felipe Alou, but that was one of them. Yeah.
If for nothing else, just to squeeze in maybe one more plate appearance every 2 or 3 days.
Well, you know, the settling of Starlin Castro at the top of the order as well. It seems like a long time ago, but he was hitting in the 2 spot in the lineup. He was hitting in the 3 spot, but seems to have really found a home in that leadoff spot.
One, 3, and 4 have been pretty routine here lately. Castro, Ramirez, and Pena. Other parts have changed. Campana takes off for third, and he gets in. He's going to score. I'm not sure why Corcoran even threw it. 1-1. Tony Campana steals third and scores on the error by the catcher. He was going to steal the base, no problem. And then able to just pretty much walk home. Safe at home, safe and secure. New York Life.
It's a common mistake the young catchers make with speedy base runners. You try to rush your throw when you really have no chance to get the guy at third base. The proper thing to do is just make sure you make a good throw and hope that Tony Campana overslides the base. He had that one stolen easily against Henry Sosa. Corcoran, in his haste to get rid of it, looked like he didn't have a good grip, tried to throw from his knees, and the Cubs tie this one up.
So Pena walks, and it's Brian LaHare. Low for ball 1. Now, these statistically have been 2 of the worst defensive clubs in baseball. I guess it's not a shock that the first 2 runs have scored on errors.
I'm not shocked.
Nor am I. Yesterday, LaHair struck out as a pinch hitter. That snapped his Cubs career starting 9-game hitting streak.
And then talking about the various spots in the lineup and where people have settled as this season has gone on. We don't know how much playing time Tony Campana is going to get the rest of this season, or looking into the future whether he will be an everyday player at the major league level. But just for the sake of argument, if Tony Campana was a regular outfielder for this Cubs team, can you see him leading off, Starlin Castro hitting second, and Ramirez third? Now you talk about your best hitter hitting in the 3 spot. Certainly Starlin Castro not far behind and would get tremendous protection in that lineup with Ramirez hitting behind him. Would figure to get a lot more strikes, and when you throw strikes to Starlin Castro, he is going to hit it.
I agree, and I think again it goes back to Campana being more patient and hitting the ball on the ground.
Because there's no question when he gets on base, he makes things happen. He changes the complexion of the ball game with his speed. He changes the defense. He changes the pitches that the catcher calls. Changes the delivery of the pitcher on the mound to try to unload it quicker. You know, I talked a lot about Brian LaHair and what certainly appears to be just the ultimate confidence when he's standing in that batter's box. Well, Tony Campana has that same confidence on the bases. He doesn't think any pitcher or catcher can get him if he gets his lead and gets a jump at first base.
It's kind of funny talking about Campana and LaHair. They're the exact opposites. Everything LaHair does, Campana doesn't. Everything Campana does, LaHair doesn't. Now it is LaHair, but really that guy's the hair. The turtle kind of at the plate, but he's a powerful turtle, so to speak. Doesn't run, but he can hit.
Super turtle.
Yeah. As you said, LaHair hasn't played poorly in the outfield. He really hasn't been noticed, and that's a compliment for a guy who's not known for playing much outfield or being above average out there. Just make all the routine plays. Three and two. Pena takes off. Ball 4. Back-to-back walks. And 3 in the inning, and that'll prompt Doug Brocail, long-time major league pitcher, now their pitching coach, to head on out.
For a team with the worst record in Major League Baseball, they have more meetings on the field than any team I've ever seen. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. Some of it is instruction, coaching in specific situations. Brad Mills wants to make sure that these young players learn from their experiences and anticipate situations a little better. But man, we're going to see a number of visits to the mound by the pitching coach, the manager, the catcher.
Alfonso Soriano skies one down the left field line, foul. Wind is going to push Fly balls toward the foul pole or foul ground.
At times the wind blowing straight out to left field, at other times blowing across from the right field corner toward the left field foul pole. Definitely figures to help balls that are struck well toward left field. Probably knock everything down, hit to right.
Check down at first, and he held, according to Bill Welke.
He was able to check that time. Not always an easy thing to do with that big, long, heavy bat, but was able to hold up that time.
Soriano's been productive. 13 driven in 13 September games, and a few days before that had back-to-back game-winning homers in San Francisco. Blocked by Corporon. 2-2.
Pretty nice stop by the Astros catcher. That slider hit way out there in front of home plate with that side spin on the baseball. It's going to kick back a little bit to the catcher's left. That time Corporon able to center it up and keep the ball right there in front.
Another full count, 3-2. Over 30 pitches here in the opening inning. 33 and only 15 strikes. Cubs have waited him out. And he's loaded him up for Darwin Barney. Well, for the record, Darwin Barney says the ball did hit me, but it's not how the call went. It was deemed by Jeff Nelson, the home plate umpire, that the ball hit the knob of his bat in the first inning, and the Astros would turn a 2-6-3 double play. I did ask him, why didn't you really sell it? Give it the Hollywood treatment. He said, I don't want to disrespect the game. But it did hit me. Well, one fouled back. Astros have somebody up in their bullpen here in the first inning.
Cubs still searching for their first grand slam this season. We had 295 in bases loaded situations, but nobody has left the building yet.
Lucas Harrell, who worked in relief yesterday, is up. Ground ball back to the pitcher, and he actually throws to the plate, even though Corporon was pointing at first base. 4 walks, an error, and a 1-1 tie.
Sosa was out there on the mound so long in that bottom of the first inning, he forgot how many outs there were. This little comebacker off the bat of Darwin Barney. You'll see his catcher, Carlos Corporant, pointing to first base. That's where you go with 2 outs. Take the sure out at first, but instead, Sosa throws home for the force out. Same result. Cubs get out of the inning with only 1 run scored after 4 walks, a stolen base, and an error.
And he has a no-hitter through 1.
And had a reliever up in the bullpen. He got a no-no going.
Paredes, Corporan, and Sosa. Back-to-back switch hitters to start the inning. Just a little bit inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Paredes came over on July 31st of last year from the Yankees as he smacks one into right. And LaHare with an error. Just as we were talking about his defense. So single and an error on the right fielder. Runner at second, nobody out.
Yeah, just a little too casual that time. Tried to field that ball off to the side. I don't care whether you're playing outfield or infield. If you have the opportunity to get your body in front of a routine hit like this, you take that extra half step to your left, get in front. Actually looked up before the ball was in his glove that time. Got away far enough for Paredes to advance on to second base.
Not a bunting spot because the pitcher's on deck. Corporan will just try to knock in Paredes himself. That's a strike. 0-2. Defensive swing as he stays alive. Nice barehanded pick by Matt Garza, who went 9 innings in the game yesterday and got a no decision. He was 1 pitch away from a complete game win. I think you had the line, and it was exactly the case. He was thinking with his heart, not his head, on that last pitch to Carlos Lee. High in the air. This should get Paredes to third. LaHare with the catch. The 27th annual Cubs convention takes place at the Hilton Chicago on January 13th, 14th, and 15th, 2012. Rooms are available now by calling the Hilton Chicago at 312-922-4400 and asking for the Cubs convention rate. Weekend passes go on sale in early November. For more information, visit Cubs.com. Dave Clark just had a one-on-one with the pitcher Sosa. Now Clark talking with Paredes at third. As the Cubs will have their infield in.
You see that much interplay between a third base coach and a batter and runner in this particular situation. The red flag would be a potential squeeze bunt, but I think it's just a misinformation campaign. I think Sosa's just going to be up there hacking away, trying to drive a ball through that infield.
He's 0 for 10, but has walked twice and scored twice. And a swinging strike 1. old school. I like it. Kept his cap on under his helmet. Nobody does that anymore. Juan Pierre might be the only guy I can think of. And he got him. 2 down. 4 strikeouts already for Lopez.
Lead overmatch that time. Sosa didn't really have his heart in that at bat. A couple of late swings on fastballs and then chases a slider out of the zone low and away. You wouldn't use a squeeze play with 2 outs in the inning, but it's not out of the question that Jordan Schaefer tries to bunt for a base hit to get that runner home from third and get himself on first base.
And he does bunt. Not a good one, though. And Lopez will get him to end the inning. So the leadoff single and error do not hurt the Cubs. 1-1. Today, each team with an error in each half inning. Giovanni Soto looks at ball 1. He homered yesterday, 15th home run this season. A slider on the outside corner, 1-1. Mentioned off the top, the Cubs are 1 win away from 4,000 all time here at Wrigley Field. So including today, 5 chances left to do it this season. They would be the 3rd franchise to win at least 4,000 regular season games in one ballpark. Red Sox at Fenway, the Yankees at Old Yankee Stadium. Armas will get Soto by a couple of steps.
You know what that means, Len? 4,000 wins here at Wrigley. A lot of partying in Wrigleyville.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Cub fans, if you want to manage the game along with Mike Quaddy, log on to WGNTV.com right now and click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner to connect to all the up-to-the-minute stats and information while you're watching at home. Game Zone is sponsored by The Great Escape, pools, patio sets, play sets, hot tubs, and more.
When should you do that? Right now.
Yes, do it now, this very second. Lopez grounds to Matt Downs. Unintentional rhyme.
This is probably the hardest adjustment for Starlin Castro as a leadoff hitter. When that pitcher makes the second out of the inning, it's traditional for that leadoff hitter to take a little extra time in the on-deck circle and take his time getting in the batter's box to give the pitcher a chance to get back into the dugout. That's not Starlin Castro's nature when it comes to at-bats. He wants to run up there from that on-deck circle.
Slider, strike one. Sosa in desperate need of a quick 1-2-3 after a long first inning. 37 pitches in the first inning.
I mentioned in the open of the show that his last time out he went 4 2/3 and threw over 90 pitches. That was his last start in the minor leagues. His last start at the big league level, he went 2 2/3 against the Washington Nationals, threw 58 pitches in 2 2/3. Not uncommon for him to run up some hefty pitch counts early in the game.
And that was his shortest start of the year. This is just the 8th of his major league career, and Castro strikes out. So they do go in order in the second. It's 1-1 from Wrigley.
Gatherings, family reunions, and bachelor or bachelorette parties. Individual and group tickets are available for all games. For more details, go to www.wrigleyvillerooftops.com or call 773-248-ROOF.
Clint Barmas here in the third. Astros and Cubs in the middle game. Cubs winning in 12 yesterday, 4-3. Second consecutive extra innings affair. They lost late Thursday night in Cincinnati in 11. Cubs are now 7-1 in extra innings at Wrigley Field. According to stats, most extra innings wins at home in a while. That's deep, and it's caught by Soriano on the warning track. The most wins and extras at Wrigley in 20 years, since 1991 when they went 8-3. Martinez with one out, nobody on. Good friend Mark Algini, lifelong Cub fan. Out here with 20 of his buddies from college on the East Coast. And they call themselves the Starfish Society. They're out in the bleachers today. And they will be doing what you said earlier. They'll be hanging in Wrigleyville after the game.
Oh, yeah.
Great to see them here. A nice note from the HOU family. I wanted to say thanks to Mother HOU for everything they've done for the family, or she's done. And a nice grab by Brian LaHare, making up for the error in the second. He just robbed Martinez of maybe a triple.
Brian LaHare may not have what you would consider outfielder speed, but one thing we've noticed in his time in the outfield, he takes good lines. He goes right to the spot. That's equally important for an outfielder. You see some guys run those S patterns when they're chasing balls in the gap or down the line, changing directions a couple times as they pursue those fly balls. But LaHare, more often than not, goes right to the spot. Nice running catch that time.
Curve strike on Carlos Lee. He has struggled against Lopez in his career. Did reach on the error in the first inning. The Astros got their run. Sergeant Douglas Boyd, who just returned from Afghanistan after a 400-day tour, is here in the ballpark. He resides in Cortland, Illinois. His wife Robin bought tickets, and here they are. Great to have you back home, Sergeant Boyd. Hey, Cub fans, make sure you check out our WGN Baseball blog on WGNTV.com. I have a post on the last couple of weeks of this 2011 season. And this being the final homestand, we have game notes from stats as always. We recorded a new podcast today as well. WGNTV.com. The podcast will be ready to go on Monday. 3-2 to lead. Our smiling faces on the podcast.
Cheese.
We recorded weekly. WEEKLY and the other spelling sometimes too. Oh, I thought today was one of our better efforts. Swing and a miss to end the inning.
Well, Timmy will let us know how good it was.
5 strikeouts for Lopez. 1-1.
Time includes designating a driver before you grab some buds. On September 23rd, join the people in Anheuser-Busch in a nationwide effort to encourage alcohol responsibility. You can show your friends you care by pledging to be a designated driver at facebook.com/Budweiser.
One strike on Tony Campana. Walked. Eventually stole third and scored on an error by the catcher Corporon in the opening inning. Sharply hit on the ground. Barmas gets rid of it quickly for the out.
Then got a real nice letter from Beth Bacino from Elgin, Illinois. He writes that she was at the 1933 All-Star game at Comiskey Park. She's got a tremendous memory, too. She remembers one of the Cubs representatives in that game, Lon Warnicki, a pitcher who actually went 4 innings in the game, hitting a triple in that ball game. Been a big-time Cubs fan forever. Watches every game. Beth, thank you so much for your letter. Well, that was some kind of an all-star game that year, too. A lot of the future Hall of Famers, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig. The managers were John McGraw and Connie Mack. Ball fouled right off the front instep of Aramis Ramirez. Goes down in a heap.
Mark O'Neill and Mike Quaddy out to check on him. The McDonald's Daily Double is back for just $1.89, but you don't have to remember it to love it. Prices and participation may vary. For a limited time, a la carte only. Bounced to Paredes. Ramirez got down the line okay. Fouling that ball off his lower left leg.
The problem with those injuries, obviously it hurts at the moment of contact when you foul that ball off your foot, but as the day goes on, the effects of gravity, some swelling, it's just not going to get any better anytime soon.
Happy 21st anniversary wishes to Ken and Lori Saul. We were out here at the ballpark yesterday. Got a nice note from their daughter Emily. It's from all the Saul kids.
Big Cubs hello to the Katz family watching back in Rochester, New York today.
He also wanted another shout out to her oldest brother. I believe it's Jacob, if I read her writing correctly. Stationed at Eglin Air Force Base in Florida. Pena up in the air. Again, the sun an issue, but it is caught by Martinez, who lost it at the last second, then able to locate it. Cubs go down quietly, 1-1. The first inning tally. Brian Bogusevic was singled in the first. H ball one. 41 years being a diehard Cub fan. I love the term die hard. You never say I'm a great Cub fan. I'm an average Cub. I'm a die hard Cub fan. The other one's lifelong. Lifelong or die hard. There are only two ways to describe it.
Yeah, you never hear anybody say I'm a part-time Cub fan or a die easy Cub fan. There's a lot of live hard Cub fans.
Called strike three. Comeback sinker on the inside corner. 6 strikeouts for Lopez.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is sponsored in part by Mega Millions and now Powerball from the Illinois Lottery. Tuesday's Mega Millions jackpot is $75 million, while tonight's Powerball jackpot stands at $20 million.
That is already a season high. 6 strikeouts for Lopez. His previous high was 5. Only in the 4th inning.
And if you look back over Rodrigo's best outings this year, or the stretches when he's been at his best, that off the body sinker to the lefties has been a really good pitch for him. That time he threw it on the outside of the plate to a right-handed hitter, got the ground ball into foul territory, but it's a good pitch, freezing those lefties. They think the ball's going to be inside off the plate. They freeze, they move their hands, and then the ball tails back over the inside corner. When he's been able to command that pitch, he's been pretty good.
Fly to deep center. Campana in front of the track. They get Downs. With 2 outs, it'll be Paredes. Lopez's career high 10 strikeouts back in 03. He was a member of the Baltimore Orioles. His best year was 2002. His rookie season, 15-9 with a 3.57 with the Orioles. He would win 14 games in 04, 15 again in 05. Hasn't gotten a double digit since. With several different teams. He has 80 career wins. That's 5th all-time among Mexican-born pitchers. Campana will have to play this ball on a bounce. And Paredes is 2 for 2.
Well, Lopez that time actually threw the ball right where Giovanni Soto wanted it. Paredes got up on top. Able to tomahawk that ball into center field in front of Tony Campana for a 2-out base hit. Something to file away for future reference. Jimmy Paredes likes that high fastball. In general, this is a run situation. If the guy at first base has enough speed to possibly steal a base, Paredes 4 out of 7 on the season in stolen base attempts. But in the event he does get thrown out at second base, you've got your number 8 hitter leading off in the top half of the 5th inning.
Lopez ready. There goes a runner. Here's a throw by Soto. A little late, offline, but that part didn't really matter.
Good jump that time at first base by Paredes. Pretty good pitch for Gio to handle. The ball was on the right side of his body. That helps you close that front shoulder quickly. Unfortunately, the ball tailed as it got down there near second base. No chance to get Paredes.
Brett Myers and Ryan Dempster tomorrow, and then the Brewers come in. Still have not clinched the division. The magic numbers down to 7. And they haven't been able to put the Cardinals away, as the Cardinals are playing excellent ball, although their best shot is the wild card. Cards have won 8 of 9. So after this series, the next 6 all could have meaning, with 2 teams still in the playoff race. Last night, Milwaukee beat Cincinnati. Ryan Braun became the 2nd Brewer ever to have a 30-30 campaign. Homers and steals. Tommy Harper, the other, called strike 3. 2-out single, no runs, 7 Ks for Lopez, still tied. It's smarter than that. Feels smarter at Lincoln.com. That's it. The rest of the season. Brewers here, and then the Cubs head to St. Louis and San Diego. It's the all-religious trip. They play the Cardinals and the Padres. Because, as we like to say, if you're going to be in Missouri, you might as well stop by San Diego.
Right in the neighborhood.
It'll be the Cubs' 3rd trip to California. Brian LaHair, high and deep center field, and it will go right in front of the batter's eye. A majestic blast. His 2nd in the majors, his 40th overall this season.
Time to take a look at our BMW ultimate drive of the game. A 92-mile-an-hour fastball down near the knees, and LaHare just golfed it out of here to straightaway center field. Brought to you by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana BMW dealers. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
38 of his homers came at AAA. Led the minors with 38 home runs, and he's now hit 2 here. So what a year he's had. And that, by the way, the first hit for the Cubs. As Soriano bounced that one off his foot, it's foul. Cubs lead 2-1. Second Cub to bounce one off his foot as Soriano's really shaking it off.
It looked like it hit him on the back leg, maybe. He was kind of trying to stretch out his right quad. Maybe that ball caught him on the back leg.
Down ball to third. Paredes throws him out. Talking to Darwin Barney today about, a full season as a Cub and just kind of getting used to all the different start times. And I mentioned yesterday he's lost about 15 pounds or so this season. Might try to play at about 10 pounds heavier next year just to kind of help him keep his strength through the season. And in terms of adjusting to playing day baseball on a fairly regular basis, as he deposits one into center for a base hit. He said for him going to bed early is not the issue. He said, I'm a bit of an insomniac, though. I'll start reading and all of a sudden I look up, it's 4 a.m. And we were talking the other day about you get home late Thursday, early Friday morning, and you start to do the math. Okay, I've got to be up in 4 hours and 27 minutes, and sometimes it's really hard to go to sleep when the clock is ticking.
If I go to sleep right now, I'll get 4 hours. If I go to sleep right now, I'll get 3.5. If I fall asleep right now, I'll get 3.
Yeah.
And before you know it, it's time to get up.
Now, you've been through every possible scenario. You played on the West Coast. You had the trips to the East Coast and then back. You've been here in Chicago for the last 7 years. You can get on a routine. You can get your sleep. But then you have a night like Sunday night. Cubs played an 8 o'clock local start in New York. Got to Cincinnati around 5:30 in the morning. So you get to bed about 6:30. But 4 or 5 days later, you're getting up at 6:30 to start your day. Even if you're the most disciplined sleeper in the world, that's going to mess you up.
You can't mess too much with Mother Nature. That internal clock tends to get a little screwed up as the season goes on, and you have unusual situations like that. But
part of the deal.
That's part of the deal. The thing is, it's tough enough to play this game when you're getting a good solid 8 hours of sleep and you're eating well and you're getting your pregame work in, and it's still tough to go out and play baseball. But when you try to do it on 2 or 3 hours of sleep and extra inning ball games, day games, night games, it can really mess with your body clock.
Soto striking out. Here's Lopez. Talking to guys like Ron Santo. We would talk to him all the time about all-day games at Wrigley. Some people thought that was a little easier just because the start times were a little more predictable. It's all over the place now. 2-1 on the LaHare homer. Win $5 footlongs from Subway. Just be the 500th texter to text Subway to 97999. Go to WGNTV.com for complete info and rules. Blast by Brian LaHare, giving the Cubs their first lead, 2-1.
This inning sets up well for Rodrigo Lopez, with his opposite number Henry Sosa leading it off and then rolling around to the top of that Astros order. Ideally, you face the top of the order with one out, nobody on.
As we get started here in the fifth, Bob, we want to send condolences to the family of Alice Lang of Omaha, Nebraska, passing away at 94 years old. Followed the Cubs, was a huge Greg Maddux fan, and treasured the ball that he had signed for her. And again, we want to send our sympathies to her entire family, including her great niece, Susie Fleta. One to nothing on Sosa, who struck out with a runner at third and one out in the second. One and two. Jordan Schaefer on deck. Final road trip for the Astros, so the veterans got to dress up the rookies yesterday, and they have 16 rookies. All kinds of wacky outfits. Soft liner to Carlos Pena.
Great seats, including the bleachers, are still available for this Tuesday when the Cubs host the Brewers right here at Wrigley Field. Game time is 7:05, but be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans will receive a Cubs floppy hat, compliments of Fisher Nuts. Get your tickets now by calling 1-800-THE-CUBS or visiting Cubs.com. For freshness you can see, think Fisher. Buy Fisher Nuts at your local Jewel.
According to the Houston Chronicle, Anario Del Rosario dressed up as a bee. Wilton Lopez had the baby outfit, even though he's not a rookie, which concerns you a little bit.
Maybe they didn't make it this.
Fernando Rodriguez wore a nurse outfit. Lucas Harrell had the Sergeant Sexy policewoman outfit on. That's kind of the extent of rookie hazing these days. And I imagine the Cubs will are already formulating their plans for the final road trip. I'm sure Ryan Dempster is involved, if not in charge, dressing up the rookies. Brian LaHare, oh man. Whatever he will wear, I'm sure it'll be 5 sizes too small.
Yeah.
Campana makes a catch. Might just make him wear Campana's uniform and have Campana wear LaHare's. Let's step aside, see what's coming up on WGN. Now, this is a family show. I know I don't have to remind you, but I will anyway. Has it really changed in terms of what rookies are put through over the last 30-35 years?
I think it has considerably. I mean, way back in the day, the rookie hazing involved carrying the luggage of the veteran players, and getting them coffee in the clubhouse. At some point, the September call-ups were subjected to the ugly shoes. There was a shoe store down in Atlanta that used to have a back room full of outdated and way out of style disco shoes, the old Frenchy Fuqua shoes with the goldfish in the heel and things like that. had gradually transformed into odd-looking suits, and now most teams go with the costumes.
We should point out Brian LaHair technically not a rookie because of his time with Seattle, but as we said, sometimes, hey, Cubs guys say he's a rookie, he's a rookie.
I was very fortunate. I got called up to the big leagues in 1981 after the work stoppage, so it was kind of in the middle of the season before the September call up, so I kind of slid in under the radar.
You're still being hazed by Mike Krukow every time we see it.
That never stops.
Yep. Cubs lead 2-1.
On the north side of Chicago, the final baseball weekend here in Wrigleyville. Keep in mind, less than 150 days until pitchers and catchers report.
Starlin Castro out into deep left center, and it's going to hit the warning track, and he'll have a leadoff double. Now 6 hits shy of 200. Number 194 on the year, and he's reached base in 30 consecutive games.
Boy, just a flat rolling slider out over the plate for Castro. Gets it right on the barrel of the bat. A little elevation. He has himself a home run, but as it is, a rocket line drive off the base of the wall out there in left field.
So Castro reaching in 30 straight. First Cub to do that as a shortstop since Ernie Banks had a 30-game on-base streak in 1960. So he made the switch over to first. And Starlin or Castro. Okay. Running foul. I like watching Campana bunt when everybody knows he's going to do it, because he still can beat it out. This is a 2-for-1, trying to get Castro to third, but also he never just lays down a sac bunt just to make it out.
And a little stab right at the very end that time, got underneath the baseball, fouled it back to the screen. barrel that bat drop as he reaches it out there. Instead of bunting the middle or top part of the baseball, he catches the bottom of the ball, resulting in a foul tip straight back. Actually, not a foul tip, a foul ball.
Cubs leading 2-1, trying to add on here in the fifth.
Tony wanted to ask for timeout, but Sosa was ready to deliver the pitch. At one point, he just had only his right hand on the bat as he was requesting timeout. Had to quickly re-grip and get ready for that delivery from Henry Sosa.
They're 1-2. Look out, man. Not only Aramis Ramirez, but all those fans in that section right next to the dugout, and Ramirez is going to go into the dugout.
You get a little slap hitter who's just trying to protect the plate, swinging late at borderline pitches. It's probably the best place to be.
We always go back to Aaron Miles, a very similar type hitter. On a late swing, he hit a ball that ended up ending the career of Juan Encarnacion, who was on deck. Shattered his orbital as Campana strikes out. Play the new $200 million cash spectacular instant game from the Illinois Lottery for your chance at over 7.6 million prizes. Hurry, tickets are limited. Off the plate inside to Ramirez.
And looking forward, if Tony Campana is going to be a part of this Cubs organization and be in the mix in the outfield, those are the situations he has to succeed nearly 100% of the time. You have got to advance that runner to third base either via the bunt, put the ball in play to the right side of the infield. I don't think anybody expects Tony to hit a lot of home runs, probably not to hit even a lot of extra base hits. But you do expect him to get on base. You do expect him to score a lot of runs, and you do expect him to move runners when he has the opportunity to do so.
The kick and the 2-0, and Ramirez pops it up. The desired result in a hitter's count as he fouls out to the second baseman, Matt Downs. So 2 away, and Castro still at second base. Here comes Pena for the third time.
I mean, everybody on a ball club has their strengths and weaknesses, things they do well, things they don't do so well. You don't expect Aramis Ramirez to bunt for a base hit, but you do expect that from Tony Campana. You don't expect Alfonso Soriano to give himself up hitting a ground ball to the right side to move a runner, but you do expect Darwin Barney to do that. Everybody has a role to fill offensively within a lineup, and when you have those opportunities to do what it is you're expected to do, you need to succeed almost all the time.
One and one to Pena. LaHare gave the Cubs the lead in the fourth with a home run. Cubs with 3 hits. They've all been in the last 2 innings. Outside, 2-2.
Not a factor in this particular situation, Len, but we've seen Carlos Pena bunt for a base hit with this exaggerated pull shift. And watching the Red Sox Rays game last night, Adrian Gonzalez, who faces a similar pull shift when he's at the plate, tried to bunt a ball to the left side of the infield. Especially if you're leading off an inning, trailing by a run or 2 in a ball game.
He strikes out this time. So the leadoff double for Knott. Cubs 2, Astros 1.
WGN are brought to you by Bud Light Lime. Just the right taste of Bud Light with a refreshing splash of 100% natural lime flavor.
Rodrigo Lopez with a 2-1 lead here in the 6th, and ball 1 to J.D. Martinez. Cubs lead the season series 7-6, including 4-3 here at Wrigley. The Astros have played pretty well here over the last couple of years. They've won 4 of their last 5 series in this ballpark.
And then with the expanded roster here in September, A few more pitchers down there in that Cubs bullpen, and seating is a little limited. We've seen this come into play a couple of times this year where the chairs kind of get curved so that the pitchers can see the field of play. Unfortunately, the chairs get out there and can occasionally interfere with the right, or rather the left fielder coming over into foul territory. We saw Coy Hill earlier this year never moved from his chair on a pop foul over in that area. So far, no seating chart for the third base umpire, but if we see a foul ball go down in that direction and they don't scatter those chairs quickly enough, they'll probably get slapped on the wrist.
Leadoff walk. Here's Carlos Lee. And the Astros bullpen is packed as well. Well, the other night in Cincinnati, as the Reds were finishing up BP and the Cubs were in the outfield playing catch, they looked like there were 150 players on the field.
Looked like a tryout camp.
Yeah. And it's Barney to make the catch. Lee flying 0 for 3 today.
And we know how small the visiting clubhouse is here at Wrigley Field, and man, when you've got expanded rosters, it's not unusual for guys to have to double or sometimes triple up in lockers. We were talking about it the other day. Way back in the day at Candlestick Park when we had September call-ups, they actually put metal temporary lockers out in the hallway leading out to the field. Now there was no heat out in the hallway, and you had to show up at the ballpark and get dressed down in the tunnel leading to the field in a metal locker with no heat. You got dressed quickly.
Inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. 5th and 6th inning. This is where Lopez, even when he's pitched well, has started to run into some trouble. So early action in the bullpen. Ortiz the righty, Russell the lefty. Way outside. And it's 2-1. It seems like he hit 75, 80 pitches, and things start to fall apart a little bit. His command very good over the first 5 innings, but not so much here in the 6th. And there you have it.
Sometimes it's just a matter of that second and third time through the opposing lineup. The hitters have had an opportunity to see everything Rodrigo has to offer, and they have a much better idea of what to look for that second and third time through the batting order. And sometimes it can be a psychological thing. I mean, Rodrigo is not unaware of those numbers that we just showed you. And when you know in the back of your mind that, geez, this is a part of the game where usually I start to get in a little bit of trouble, it can be a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Lopez wanted that call but didn't get it. Marty Foster said it was wide. 3-1.
Not unusual to see a fall off as a pitcher gets to the 75 pitch mark, but that is a drastic jump in opponent's batting average and home runs because he hasn't thrown many pitches after 75 this year.
Two walks in the inning. Stroll through the home of the Cubs and get an insider's look at more than 97 years of history in this legendary ballpark. Guided tours may include visits to the press box, clubhouses, and dugouts, as well as a chance to actually step on the field. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. Tour sizes are limited and sell out fast, so get your tickets today. Mark Riggins chats with Rodrigo Lopez. Best of luck to Brian Harper and the Tennessee Smokies tonight. Ryan Searle, a right-hander, on the mound, and they need to win out. They're down 2-0 in their best of 5 Southern League Championship Series versus Mobile, but they're at home at Smokies Park.
Well, we were talking about it before the ball game, Len. This is as late into September as I ever recall a minor league playoff series going. You know, I'm sure some of those guys were anxiously looking forward to a potential call up in the month of September, get a little bit of big league time here at the end of the season, but those AA playoffs are just dragging on forever.
It could end as early as tonight or as late as, I believe, Monday. We might see a player or two come up for the final week or so from that Tennessee club. Lopez with a 1-0 to Downs, and he pops it up. Castro looking for some help, and he's going to get it from Tony Campana. And with 2 outs, it's Jimmy Paredes, who's already 2 for 2. Paredes started the day 295, now up to 305 on the year. A good start. Curveball for a strike.
If there is such a thing as a big at bat when you've got 2 teams playing out the string in the month of September, this is it for Rodrigo Lopez. Mike White giving him an opportunity one more time to pitch himself out of some trouble here in the 6th inning. Quickly jumps ahead in the count 0-2. His team holding a tenuous 1-run lead.
Way inside. Knocked down. Paredes 1-2.
That was the 4-seam fastball inside, knocking Paredes off the plate. See if he comes back with a sinker in that same location. Tries to freeze the left-handed hitter and get that tailing action back to the inside corner. They're going to go away.
Driven to left. Alfonso Soriano makes the catch, and Lopez gets through 6 with the lead. 2-1. Special promotions in the Bud Light bleachers, including free T-shirt Mondays, $3 12-ounce draft Bud and Bud Light Tuesdays, and $1 Vienna Beef Hot Dog Wednesdays. Tuesday special also available in select locations in the seating bowl. For more information, visit Cubs.com. Funny man Tom Dreesen, big Cub fan, will handle the stretch coming up. Leher with a walk and a go-ahead home run. He did commit an error in right, but that was only a base, not a run. First game for Victor, hoping the Cubs will be victors as well.
Nice. It's your vector, Victor.
Outside corner, 3-1. Kind of amazing Sosa has survived as long as he has today after a 37 pitch 4-walk first inning.
Hasn't walked another batter since, but he's been spraying it all over the place.
It is his first walk since the opening inning. Line foul. Those other early games today, 6-5 Blue Jays over the Yankees. The Yankees just got 4 in the 6th. Blue Jays now batting in the bottom of the inning.
Trouble.
Yeah, it's caught by Martinez. Let's step aside and see what's coming up on WGN. Alex Rodriguez with a 3-run homer for the Yankees to help them close the gap. 629th of his career, only the 16th this season. This would be the first year in terms of full seasons of his major league career if he can't get to 20. Previous low since he hit 36 in 1996. Is 23 the following season. Base hit for Darwin Barney. That's his second today.
You know, right now Mike Quaddy is rooting like crazy for Giovanni Soto to find a way to get on base as well, so he could pinch hit for Rodrigo Lopez and turn the ball over to his bullpen. Nice quick swing by Darwin Barney, finding that hole on the left side of the infield.
I should add for A-Rod, injuries this season have kept him at this point to just 91 games. Slider strike on Soto with Blake DeWitt now on deck. Lopez 6 innings, 1 run. It was unearned in the first inning. Another slider, this one outside. There's DeWitt. His most frequently used pinch hitter. Del Rosario, the righty. Cedeno made his major league debut yesterday as the lefty. Way high on a fastball, 2-2. Now 3-2. See if they send the runners here.
And I really think as a hitter it changes your approach if you know whether the hitters are going to run or not on a 3-2 1 out situation.
They were not running, and Soto hit it foul.
Take a little more aggressive swing if those runners are holding their bases. But if you know they're going to be on the move, you just want to make contact. There's going to be some holes created in the infield as those guys break for their respective bases. Just put that ball in place somewhere.
How about this interesting note? Adam Dunn goes into action tonight with the White Sox with a 161 batting average and 161 strikeouts. He might have a higher strikeout total than a batting average this year. Knocked down. They'll get one, and that's it. Paredes with an excellent play to keep that ball out of left field, and to boot, he gets an out.
A pretty nice scrambling defensive play that time by the Astros third baseman. Got a glove on it, knocked it down, but he didn't quit on the play. Picks it up barehanded and just does beat Brian LaHair to the bag. Had an idea about firing across the diamond, but enough time had elapsed that Giovanni Soto was going to be safe at first, so he just held on to the ball.
Here comes the manager, Brad Mills. He's got the lefty Cedeno ready. It looks like he's going to leave Sosa in.
Talked about it yesterday, what we've seen from the second half of the season with this Astros ball club after they jettisoned a couple of their big contracts. It's been like extended spring training throughout the second half of the season. Brad Mills taking every opportunity to go out there and teach the fundamentals of the game, talk to players about what's important in each individual situation, and rather than send a pitching coach out, he's been making a lot of visits to the mound himself.
As long a meeting as you'll ever see allowed. So here's DeWitt, the pinch hitter for Lopez. Strike one. I don't know if teams keep this But would it be worth tracking different teams' visits to the mound and what pitchers are likely to throw?
Absolutely.
The first pitch?
That usually goes on an advance report after a visit to the mound by a pitching coach. What is the first pitch? For a long time, guys were told that after a visit to the mound by the pitching coach, usually the next pitch is a fastball. Now, just from my experience and watching the game, that's not always true. That's not even true most of the time, I don't think. It just depends on what the pitcher is going through out there on the mound at any given time, what the hitter's likely to be looking for on that first pitch. But it is definitely tracked and recorded on the advance reports.
Swing and a miss. So the meeting was fruitful for Henry Sosa. 2-1 Cubs as we go to the 7th. Frampton comes alive. Peter Frampton, do you feel like we do? That's our Bud fan cam. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds.
Woke up this morning with a wine glass in my hand. Who hasn't done that?
I want to thank you. Strike. J.B. Shuck is batting for Carlos Corporon. Brett Wallace will bat for Sosa next. Oh, did Peter Frampton tour already, or is he going to tour and play Frampton Comes Alive in its entirety? I would love to see that show. 3-1 the count on Shuck. Ramon Ortiz in relief of Rodrigo Lopez. Bullpen's been pretty busy lately, except for yesterday. Swing and a miss, 3-2. And he came back and got him.
Sneaky quick with that 92-mile-per-hour fastball. Shuck with a very late swing trying to protect the plate. One down in the inning.
Mike Quade coming out and James Russell cranking it up with Wallace announced. We'll see if he takes this at bat. We'll be back. Instead, Chris Johnson involved in the final play of the game yesterday. He's convinced the ball was foul, and then he put his glove on the ball when he saw it in foul territory, but that's not what the umpires called, and it looked like it was foul, but he pushed it fair and the chalk flies, and tough for an umpire to call it foul, and that's all he sees.
That's one of those subtleties of the game. You're taught as a corner infielder or a catcher or a pitcher coming over to the foul lines to field a ball like that. You always sweep it further into foul territory.
Broke his bat, but he's going to single into center, and the tying run is on base.
It looks like there's just a little brown dirt between the ball and the foul line as he makes contact with it. But once again, because he deflected it back toward fair territory, it made it a very tough call for the third base umpire. It would have been a no doubter had he swept that ball toward the Cubs dugout on the third base side.
Jordan Schaefer now with one on and one out. Swing and a miss. A slider. At the end of the bat foul, 0-2. Schaefer was born in Hammond, Indiana. Former Brave. Schaefer homered in his first major league at bat off Brett Myers on opening day in 2009 in Philadelphia. First player ever to homer in his first plate appearance on opening day against the defending world champs. Called strike three. 2 down.
And now Schaefer, a teammate of Brett Myers, and don't think for a minute that he doesn't remind him of that, probably on a daily basis.
That'll be it for James Russell with a right-handed hitting Clint Barmas. Coming up, it's Kerry Wood. Drive the 2011 Honda Cross Tour, available with four-wheel drive. Jordan Schaefer scored. He got on base to start the game, and that's the only run to date for the Astros. Starlin Castro has gotten on in 30 consecutive games. Here's Kerry Wood with a man on, 2 down, facing Clint Barmas.
Pitched a clean 1-2-3 inning a couple days ago in Cincinnati, did Kerry Wood. Matter of fact, back-to-back days of 1-2-3 innings against the Reds in the final 2 games of that series.
Swing and a miss on a four-seamer. 0-2. Ortiz started the inning. We then saw Russell for 2 batters. Now Kerry Wood. This is his inning. Nobody up in the Cubs pen. And that'll be a base hit in front of Soriano. 2 on for J.D. Martinez. Yankees have now taken a 7-6 lead over the Blue Jays. Curtis Granderson with a go-ahead homer, his 40th of the year. 2 runs shot off Carlos Villanueva. He is having an MVP type season.
Well, he sure is.
Oh. Ground ball. Castro. He'll feed Barney, and here comes Tom Dreesen with a stretch.
Today's guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, legendary comedian Tom Dreesen.
Cub fans, are you ready? A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back, and we'll root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Let's get some more runs, Cubbies.
Cubs leading this game 2-1. Good to have Tom Dreesen, our good friend, making his annual visit to the booth to croon the 7th inning stretch.
Well,
your voice gets better and better every year, Tom.
This is the 12th year. I'm getting, by the 24th year, I think I'll have it down. It's always a lot of fun. It's always exciting to come back here. I came here as a little kid sitting out in the bleachers. So to come back here and to be able to do this is really exciting. I never get over how excited I get when I have to come here and do this.
We feel that way every day, Tom.
I bet you do, yeah. I got to tell you something funny. I'm here with a friend of mine, Jamie Masada. He came from Israel when he was 14 years old with $1 in his pocket. Today he owns a Laugh Factory in L.A. and in Hollywood, and he's opening one here, and I'm a partner on Belmont and Broadway. But he's never been to a Major League Baseball game. So he says to me, I was trying to explain to him, he doesn't know anything about baseball, what this is, Wrigley Field. I said, Jamie, right there, Babe Ruth pointed, and then he hit a home run. And he said, oh, is he playing today?
Maybe in spirit.
Yeah, maybe.
Castro fouls that one off. Well, if you go back to your first visit here at Wrigley Field, not a whole lot has changed.
No, and I wrote an article one time for a baseball magazine that when you sit in these chairs, time stands still, because this is where your great-grandfather saw the game, where your grandfather saw the game, where your father saw the game, where you and your son and your son's son. So for a moment, just for a moment in your life, time stands still.
Rosario from the stretch with nobody on, and Castro hits another foul.
Well, we've had a couple innings of this ball game today where it felt like time was standing still.
I talked to Bobby De Niro. I threw out the first pitch, and I talked to him before the game. I was a bat boy when Bobby was playing with Zonk and all the guys, and he said, we're going to run on this guy. We're going to all day long. We're going to run on this guy. And sure enough, when they get on, they run.
Get the right guys on, yeah.
Way inside to Castro, and it's 2-2. There he is, the pride of Harvey, Illinois, right here. You drive down your namesake street a lot?
Yeah, I go back once in a while. I want to put a toll booth up there, try to make some money.
That's a good idea. Dreesen Street.
Yeah, it's on 155th Street in Harvey. But, Harvey's known for a Hall of Famer, Lou Bedreau, baseball's Hall of Fame. player manager at age 24, played shortstop and managed. They went to a pennant in the World Series. Pretty interesting. Could you have managed at 24, Bob?
Jeez, I could barely play at 24.
Fly to right, and Brian Bogusevic, a Chicago area native, makes the catch for the first out. So what else is going on with you? I know you have your golf tournament every year.
Yeah, out in Bolingbrook, the Tom Gleason Celebrity Invitation went real good. We had this year, great turnout. And Smokey Robinson, of course, sang with Alfonso Ribeiro and Gary Mulder, the comedian, myself. We did a big show. But I've been touring now with a show called An Evening of Laughter and Memories of Sinatra. It's a one-man show where Dennis Farina narrates a little film before I come out. Then I do an hour stand-up and an hour sitting at a bar telling the audience stories about Frank, Sammy, and Dean. And the show's been going very good.
Campana bounces. Going to be a tough play for Downs, and he throws it away. Well, he had to get rid of it in a hurry. That should be a hit for Campana. And it is.
And you know we're going to run on this play. Think, Bobby?
They may give Ramirez that first pitch to swing at because he loves to hack at that first pitch if it's near the strike zone. But after that, all bets are off. Wait, Tony Campana, something we haven't seen here in Chicago probably since the days of Bobby Dernier, a guy that can change the game with his legs.
Yes, yes.
Even a good throw, I don't think gets him. See, Downs just need to get rid of it as quickly as possible.
42% of the time this season, Aramis Ramirez has swung at that first pitch.
Well, if he'd have swung at, I remember Sammy Sosa was like that. If you threw it in the dugout, he'd swing at it,
Campana legging out that infield hit as the throw came across the diamond and Tony came across the bag. He is nearly hit by that throw right past his nose as it went into foul territory.
I love this kid. I love Castro, of course, and Barney. I mean, that young future for us.
There's a 1-0 pitch, and it's low. Campana not running. 2 balls and no strikes.
Even when he does not run, it still changes the game. That time, Del Rosario with a very quick pitch, hardly came to a set position before unloading to home plate, and has not found the strike zone yet on Ramirez.
Inside 3-0. Carlos Pena's on deck. I'm sure could use an extra run or two here late. Now 3-1. This would be a pretty good running spot for Campana.
I was just going to ask you if you got that. Yeah. Bobby's talking to him.
There he goes. Fouled away.
You've got to give your best hitter the luxury of hacking at that 3-1 pitch if it's to his liking, but such a big jump that time by Campana. He was going to steal that base easily had it not been fouled away. I mean, that's a very hittable pitch up in the zone.
He goes again on the 3-2, and that's ball 4, so 2 on. Carlos Pena.
Who was it, Bobby? Cool Papa Bell that Satchel Paige used to talk about was so fast that if he turned the light out in the bedroom, he was under the sheets before the light went out.
Get under the covers before the room got dark.
That's fast.
Brad Mills is going to make a change. He's going to go with the lefty against Carlos Pena. And we'll be back in the 7th in a moment. very good, and he comes in to face Carlos Pena and Brian LaHare behind him. As the Cubs have 2 on with 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. We're with Tom Dreesen, and you're getting an award coming up in a couple of days, and the award has included the word legend in it.
Yeah, well,
congratulations.
That means they think you're going to die soon, but they're having a golf tournament, Legend of Chicago, out in Bloomingdale Monday, and they're giving me the first Legend of Chicago award. Now, my brother Glenn called me and he said, Ernie Banks is going to be in the audience, and Mike Ditka, Stan Mikita, and they're giving you Legend of Chicago. If you've got any integrity, you'll give that award back. And he meant it, and he's right.
We had a note about Ernie earlier as Starlin Castro extended his on-base streak to 30 games. He's the first Cubs shortstop to have that long a streak since Ernie did 1960.
Wow.
It's going back 51 years.
And to think that I was there then and I'm here now. Now you know what legend means, old man. Is Ernie's a piece of work.
He recently turned 80.
God bless him. God bless him.
Campana the lead man at second, Ramirez at first. Pena asks for time.
We were just up here talking between innings about our respective golf games, and we're both getting to that age where we can use injuries as an excuse now. You said you had some problems with your rotator cuff. And
I tore my left shoulder rotator cuff. It's so painful.
I've got a bad thumb. That's why I don't shoot good.
Down the middle, and it's 1-1.
Ernie Banks, many years ago at the Howard Cosell golf tournament, they thought he had a heart attack. They found out he didn't. He had some kind of indigestion. They were putting him into the ambulance. I got there. I swear to God it's true. I looked down and said, Ernie, how you doing? He said, Tom, are you playing golf today? You playing golf? I said, yeah. He said, remember, keep your head behind the ball. And they thought he had a heart attack. Only Ernie would do something like that.
Let's hit foul. And checking to see if he cracked his bat, and he did.
Well, who are some of the better celebrity golfers that you've played with?
Without a doubt, Jack Wagner is the greatest celebrity golfer of all time. Without a doubt. They've ranked them, but he is an incredible golfer. Rick Rhoden, of course, you know, Rick has won on the Celebrity Players Tour for years. You know, there's a lot more today than there used to be. You know, Bing Crosby in his day was a club champ, and Sub Bob Hope, of course, was a good golfer. Dean Martin was a good golfer. But today it's Jack Wagner, hands down. He just won Tahoe again, you know. Great golfer and a good guy, too. Mike Schmidt, very good golfer.
That just missed outside, and it's 2-2.
I think Mike Schmidt has the greatest golf swing I've ever seen on any celebrity. He's got a perfect golf swing. I mean, just, you know, he just can't putt.
His baseball swing wasn't bad either.
Yeah, that's right. I saw him hit 4 home runs here at Wrigley Field.
Some big games against the Cubs. Well, when a pitcher and catcher can't get on the same page, Carlos Pena will step out. He's done it twice already in this at bat. He was able to hold up. Full count, 3-2. Another lefty on deck. Brian LaHare. Pretty safe bet to bring Wesley Wright into the game here because Mike Quade most likely won't pinch hit for LaHare. Didn't hit for Pena. And a foul tip, strike 3. It's funny, Tom, you've made hundreds and hundreds of TV appearances, a lot of late night appearances with your good friend David Letterman. And He and Jay Leno still going strong. Conan O'Brien now on cable. I got a call from my cable company yesterday, and they're trying to save me money. And they're saying, "Do you watch this channel, this channel?" And they rattle off about 25 stations. I'd never heard of them.
No.
They said, "Well, we can save you $15 a month on your cable bill." It's amazing, isn't it?
Used to be you sit down and watch TV. First of all, you'd sit down on the couch, the whole family would sit there because somebody had to get the change of channels. So you watch it. There was 4 or 5 channels, and now there's 850. And you can zap somebody the moment the commercial comes on, you know. And I'm sure a few people at home said, "You know what, Gleason, we're going to zap you right now."
There's LaHare with 2 outs.
They need to get some flashcards out here for this Astros battery. They just can't seem to get these signs right.
And low for ball 1.
Yeah, there was a time if you did one appearance on the Johnny Carson show, one appearance, it changed your career. Freddie Prinze got a sitcom. I was signed to CBS the following day. Today, there isn't a show like that that can launch a comedian. Not one show that can launch your career in one appearance. You know.
Fake towards second.
It looked like Campana wanted to run out there at second base, trying to get a walking lead and anticipate that delivery to home plate. Normally not a solid fundamental base running play, but with his speed, if he can get a walking lead at third base, he can steal third base standing up.
Well, the other thing too, and I guess it's great and makes me a little sad, is that I have a 10-year-old son, and you try to explain to them that before, if you missed a show or a segment, you might not ever be able to see it. Now everything's available.
Oh yeah.
You can go back and say, well, there was a segment on Make Me Laugh in 1979. You can find it on YouTube. It's everywhere. Everything is so accessible.
Mike Ditka had me do a showdown at the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, and I was on the putting green, and a guy came up to me and he said, "I own a company in Boston. My board wants to hire you." He said, "I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I've never heard of you." He said, "Could you have your manager send me some tape?" And I swear to God, I pulled out my cell phone and I handed it to him. I hit it a couple times where I hosted David Letterman. I handed him my cell phone, and I went to putt. 2 jokes later, come here, you got the job. No agents, just my cell phone.
Yeah. Little tapper back to right, and this will end the inning. Tom Dreesen, always a pleasure to see you. You didn't get us some runs. Maybe next time.
Next time. Good to see you again. Good to see you again.
Tom, good to see you.
Take care. Take care.
as Kerry Wood continues on. And a strike to Carlos Lee. Cubs unable to add on here to this point. Still leading 2-1. Might want to cover your ears here, partner. Cubs 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. The Astros 0 for 11.
Oof.
It's been a rough day for both offenses. Ooh.
I think the pace of this game by the pitchers, especially the Astros staff, has taken the sting out of the bat, to say the least.
Three and one. Like no doubles as Ramirez really hugs the line. And a leadoff walk. Lee, I got to believe, will be removed for a pinch runner.
Follow the Chicago Cubs with the MLB.com at Bat 11 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Get live audio, pitch-by-pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at BAT to 31826 or visit Cubs.com for details.
I got a question. Does the batter ever have to touch first?
Yeah.
Because Jose Altuve almost beat Carlos Lee to the bag. Tapper foul on the check swing by Bogusevic. Thought Brad Mills might go with Jason Bourgeois. Instead, it's Altuve.
Altuve does have 6 stolen bases in 8 attempts this year, but you referred to Jason Bourgeois, who leads the Astros team with 28 stolen bases this season. We saw him used as a pinch runner in the game yesterday.
And a 0-1 pitch rather is skied into left center, and it's caught by Soriano for the first out.
Basically a routine fly ball to just to the center field side of left that time, and as Soriano was making the catch, Tony Campana was right there, could have made the catch as well. I mean, that wasn't even a gapper. That ball was almost straight away left field, and Campana still got over there in time to help out, just in case Soriano had any issues with the sun or anything like that.
Been in on a fastball. 1-0 to Matt Downs. He has struck out and flied to center twice. Cutter for a strike that time. Another one for a strike.
Dave Clark, one of the more active third base coaches in the National League. First, he moves himself into a position where he can see his manager give the signs from the bench. Then he positions himself where the runner at first and the batter can both see him as he gives the signs to them. And then with just a runner at first base, he retreats well behind the bag at third so he can pick up that runner should there be a base hit into the outfield. Now, Dave Clark and Tim Flannery, probably two of the busier third base coaches in all of baseball. Now he'll back up once again, get in a very deep position where it's easier for that runner to pick him up going from first to second to see whether he should advance on to third.
Dave Clark doesn't get in good position. He only gets bits and pieces from the dugout.
Oh, man.
Sean Marshall is up in the Cubs.
A double play ground ball here would make everybody glad all over.
2-2. Called strike 3.
Just good old-fashioned hard ball there, four-seam fastball in the mid-90s. Absolutely freezes Matt Downs. Just could not pull the trigger. As a hitter, sometimes you go to the plate, and the old saying is you're going to get one good pitch to hit every at bat. Well, for Jimmy Paredes, I think he just got it. The four-seamer pretty much right down the middle of the plate. He did have a good swing at it, but came up empty with the foul ball off the screen. Now you're definitely in trouble. Backdoor cutter that time, nips the edge of the strike zone up around the belt.
Curveball got away. No big deal. 1-2.
If you're going to miss out of the strike zone, either farther away or down in the dirt, don't want to leave that breaking pitch hanging up over the middle of the plate, especially a guy that was late on a fastball.
Base hit into right. And they're at first and third as Paredes just picked up his third hit today. Got a left-handed hitting J.B. Shuck coming up. Sean Marshall ready in the bullpen. Mark Riggins coming out to talk it over with Kerry Wood.
This is where you crunch all the numbers and make the decision. Do you like Kerry Wood on the left-handed hitting Shuck, or do you like Sean Marshall facing one of four left or right-handed hitters rather that Brad Mills has available off the bench at this point? It looks like they're going to stick with Woody against Shuck. A Wood-Shuck matchup.
Isn't allowed a homer to a lefty. Faces a lot more right-handers. Two and 0. J.R. Tolles, the catcher, on deck. Late swing, 2 and 1. Missed the inside edge, and now 3 and 1.
Very close. That's the four-seamer with just a little bit of tailing action, trying to work its way back to that inside corner, but in the estimation of home plate umpire Marty Foster, did not make it all the way back to the corner.
Strike, borderline, 3 and 2.
Okay.
Big crowd, 39,377. Many getting on their feet. Paredes will go with the 3-2. Tying run is 90 feet away. Jose Altuve. Going to kick foul. Bobby Meacham might have a little conversation with his runner at first. Jimmy Paredes might say, Jimmy, it was 3 and 2. Gotta get going a little quicker. I think eventually he did, because Meacham was probably screaming at him. Go.
Those are things that make you scratch your head as a coach or a manager, or as a teammate.
Got him. Called strike 3. Bottom of the 8th. 2-1 Cubs. Altuve remains in the game at second. Moves Matt Downs over to first. And the new pitcher is Mark Melancon. Had a lot of trouble closing out games this year. Melancon, latest to be the closer. Pitches with his team trailing. Cup fans, part of every great time includes designating a driver before you grab some buds. On September 23rd, join the people at Anheuser-Busch in a nationwide effort to encourage alcohol responsibility. You can show your friends you care by pledging to be a designated driver at facebook.com/Budweiser. Here's Soriano to lead it off. Lanson's 0-1 is popped into right. Bogusevic records out number 1.
Pretty cool this day in baseball history for you today, partner. Back in 1977, former Cub Dave Kingman, as the designated hitter for the New York Yankees, went deep against Jim Crawford at Tiger Stadium. He became the first player to homer for 4 different teams in the same season. He had 9 homers for the Mets, had 11 for the Padres, 2 for the Angels, and 4 for the New York Yankees, all in the same year.
That's pretty good. Well, we saw the shadows of the light standards over on the first base side just after the first pitch was thrown. Now they're over at third.
Base of this game, we may see the lights before this game is over. I mean, it is highly unusual to see a 2-1 Major League ball game. We're sneaking up on 3 hours here.
Only 12 hits combined. The Cubs have just 5. The ground ball rolled to Downs, and he'll beat Barney to the base. Again, not a safe spot. The Astros are down, but they have had 45 save chances. They've converted 22. They've blown 23. That's less than 50%. Only team in baseball that's under 50%. That includes, you know, even a 7th inning lead that's blown. I wouldn't say the 51-99 record has lied necessarily, but if they had shored up their back end of their bullpen just a little bit more, Brandon Lyon was in the pen, struggled, and then got hurt, they would not be sitting on 99 losses for sure. Oh, 0-2 the count.
When you combine the inability to close out games that you possibly should win with the porous defense that they've featured most of the season, they've surrendered 73 unearned runs this year.
That'll end the inning. As Melanson goes 1-2-3. Here comes the ninth. Cubs lead 2-1. Tony Campana goes over to left. And Sean Marshall will get the save chance today after Carlos Marmol was really good and really efficient. 2 scoreless innings in the ball game yesterday. Angel Sanchez will pinch hit.
Fourth position player to hit in that 9 spot in the Astros lineup tonight. 2 of them didn't even get an at bat. Brett Wallace was sent to the plate in the 7th inning to pinch hit, was taken down for the pinch hitter Chris Johnson. When James Russell came into the ball game, J.R. Tolles came in as a catcher, but he never got an at bat. Al Sanchez hitting in that 9 spot for Tolles.
Bunted through it, 1-2. Base hit, rolling to right, down in the count. Angel Sanchez starts the inning with a base hit.
Nice piece of defensive hitting right there. Just kind of guided that ball through the right side, waited back on the big breaker, and finds the hole for a base hit into right. Jason Bourgeois likes to push bunt to the right side of the field.
Foul behind the plate. Quick call made by Marty Foster. If it's over the plate, it's fair. He said it wasn't. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
Sean Marshall's really had a good curveball lately. Throws both a curve and a slider, and some days he has a better feel for one than the other. Lately, that curveball has been really good for him.
able to hold up. 1-2. Matchup worked out well on paper for the Astros, with Bourgeois crushing lefties this year. 389, and he's down 1-2. Here's a pitch, popped him up. Usually the taller player takes it, and it's Carlos Pena. 1 out.
Maybe a little better angle that time for Pena coming over from first base. We talked about the sun and how it moves throughout the course of the ball game. Now the guys on the right side of the infield are dealing with it, but because Pena's coming from a little bit of a different angle than Darwin Barney, a little bit easier play for him to come over and steal one away from Darwin Barney.
By the way, partner, and I also wrote in Brett Wallace that he was announced in the 7th, but we are told he was not. As Chris Johnson took the at bat instead against James Russell. So Wallace still apparently available off the bench. And all the box scores, including the one we look at on our stats site, did not have Wallace in the game, and I checked in the press box.
I just assumed, I guess, when Wallace was in the on-deck circle and the Cubs made the pitching change to bring in James Russell, that he had been announced and is therefore burned in this game, but he still has one lefty available off the bench.
And it's possible that might not have been relayed from the umpires to the press box, but officially at the moment, from what we have heard, he would be available.
There's a certain protocol sending pinch hitters up to the plate. That's why a lot of times you'll see a manager wait until the umpire announces the pinch hitter in the game by turning to the press box, pointing to the player that's in the on-deck circle, and that's a sign to the official scorer of the game that, yes, indeed, this guy is a pinch hitter and he is now in the game. And then a lot of times you'll see the opposing manager ask, is he in? And the umpire will say yes, and then you go to the mound and make the appropriate pitching change.
Tying run at first, 1 out, and a 1-2 count on Clint Barmas. Wind still blowing out to left. Had a couple of wild 9th innings the last 2 days in Cincinnati. The Cubs came back on Thursday night, and it was the Astros yesterday on the Carlos Lee game-tying homer. Going to get into the left field corner. It was slowed down slightly by Ramirez. Campana will pick it up, and there are runners at second and third with only 1 out. A double for Clint Barmas. And trouble here for Sean Marshall.
A lot of breaking balls from Sean Marshall. He's used his fastball sparingly, and Clint Barmas a little more of a veteran presence than most in this Astros lineup. Looked like he was waiting on that breaking ball and was able to just keep it fair down that third base line for a double.
Martinez is the hitter, and the question is, you want to put him on and go after Altuve. Now, Carlos Lee out of the game. Remember, he was removed for the pinch runner Altuve in the 8th.
One previous encounter between Sean Marshall and J.D. Martinez that resulted in a strikeout. Looks like they're going to go ahead and put him on. Altuve has grounded into 5 double plays this season in just over 190 at bats. However, he has struck out 25 times, only walked 4. Very aggressive swinger.
That's baseball for you, the gray areas. Contact isn't a bad thing unless it's good contact if you're the Cubs. Good contact is okay if he hits it on the ground right at your shortstop. We'll find out. Bases full of Astros. They got a run in the first inning. It was unearned and have not scored since. Here's the pitch. It's a strike. Foul.
Slider to start the sequence for a called strike, then a fastball in on his hands, pulled foul for strike 2. See if he goes that big curveball. There's a go for the punch out here. Like a high fastball.
Fought that one off.
Yeah, usually a high fastball is just to set up the next breaking pitch on an 0-2 count. You don't really want to throw it in the strike zone. Ideally, you throw it up and away out of the zone and then come right back with a curveball in the same spot that'll break down over the heart of the plate.
On the hands again.
Well, we're hoping that trend continues.
Another 0-2. A foul ball.
Finally went to the big curveball. Altuve able just to get a piece of it as his back foot is sliding out of the way. Just able to get a piece.
Pitch, and he struck him out. 2 down. A huge punch out of Altuve. The Astros will replace Brian Bogusevic with Humberto Quintero, one of the 3 catchers on the roster. He's going to have to come in and catch anyway. If we do continue. There are Tolles taken down for a pinch hitter. Start this inning. Marshall trying to save it for Rodrigo Lopez.
Quintero's a guy you don't necessarily have to throw strikes to get him out. He too a free swinger supreme. Only 6 walks this season and over 235 at bats, which makes it very important for Giovanni Soto behind the plate to make sure he blocks any breaking pitches in the dirt. Try to get Quintero to chase something bad, make sure it doesn't get by.
1-2. And a 1 bouncer. Barney will field, throw to first. Cubs win. Cubs win 2-1 the final. They've taken the first 2 in this series, and everybody happy here at Wrigley Field. The Astros went 0 for 14 with runners in scoring position. They stranded 13 on base. Marshall hangs on and the Cubs win 2-1.